I'm Bill Ritchie, and what you're about to see, if you wait through the whole 40 minutes, is a collection of videotapes, short, sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes 3 or 4 minutes. And they are a collection I discovered of videos I made in 2022, and which I sort of didn't finish and kind of forgot about. But recently, I went back and looked at them, and they were, kind of interesting. And since I'm my own digital curator, I decided I would put them back in shape and upload them to YouTube for what they're worth. So I hope you enjoy these. I'm so excited. I'm in the waiting room of a Zoom call that I programmed with one of my loyal associates and collectors, and we're making a proposal to an institution I cannot name that has a museology program, and we're going to talk about converting a portfolio of mine called the Inner Visions Portfolio. And my idea is that we can give this to the museology program for students to study my body of work, just like sometimes people give their body to science. Thanks for watching. That's it. We find that the folio we call the Inner Vision series is worth $7,412 total, ranging in prices, estimated values of about $250 to $550. So the next step is to find donors who will buy the work with the understanding that the folio is going to be given to a museology program to develop those students of museology and museography skills in digital curating and all the rest that goes into the preparation of a folio like this for museum display or homes. Thank you. My job today is to find the measurement of these figure drawings that we have in our artist script catalogs. There are 97 of them, and I need to know the dimensions so that we can figure out their value. And this work is what they call digital curating. That is, knowing these things and putting them in computers. And there are a couple dozen people enrolled right now at the University of Washington in a $37,000 two-year program in museology. And museology is what this work is. I'm thinking about job creation so that we can offer them these portfolios of this type to dissect and practice on. Interesting concept, don't you think? Look what I got in the mail yesterday. It's a surprise offering from my print pal in Switzerland, Lori. What's in the package? I haven't opened this yet, so this is real. He told me this is coming a long time ago, and I've been dying to know what it was. He called it some sort of a do-it-yourself thing. There. Dear print pal, here it is. 3 wood frames for 4x4 prints. Well, it's a frame kit. Well, thank you, Eck. This looks like a stock certificate. I'm actually not very well acquainted with stocks and bonds and that kind of investing, but I see investing as being either passive or active. And I've been actively investing in the art world, but the art world keeps changing. In a few days, it'll be my father's birthday. He would have been, I don't know, he was born in 1914. Married a mountain woman, and between the two of them, bootstrapped their way up from dirt farming up to the highest level, which was orchards. And then think about my mom and dad. As I try to build a museum and I look for investors, but active investors, that's people who buy my art, who bought my art, and are actively involved today. Thanks for watching. Hi, it's Bill, and what you're looking at is my Liesl Salzer box. It's a box of memorabilia I collected when I was working with Liesl Salzer, the watercolor artist, because of her videotape that she made that actually Izumi Kuroiwa and Mark Linner made, and then I did the distribution. But anyway, this is a Christmas card from Liesl from the year 2002. Wishing me on my family a happy birthday. And this is another piece in my box of Liesl Salzer memorabilia, the little card that she sent, and she said, "Thank you for putting me on the internet." And that's a great story. It led to their discovery by experts in Austria about this lost treasure that Liesl Salzer was. What's unique about my value proposition, my investment proposition, is that the investors are investing not only in the art gallery, but in a fractionalized token, and the profits from this go to support funding the projects for young printmakers. That's the unique thing about this. So it's a double investment. Honestly, I'm having a strange experience. I come into my gallery today, studio, and on my work table here, I have a Raspberry Pi array, a wee woody Rembrandt press, bundles of little artist stamps wrapped up in here, and instructions on making this Raspberry Pi monitor function. And last week, a Chinese engineer walked in and said, "Oh, I know how to work that, and I will help you." Well, let's see if Professor Liu really does. Thanks for watching. I'm Bill, and I got this past book, the one that comes with all your Facebook images for a long. And I was looking at it, and I saw these 2 pages. They're interesting. This is some little kids using a half-wood press on a cruise on the Emerald Star on Lake Union. And this is Melissa Strausser's Young Rembrandts, or Young Printmakers in Philadelphia. She has a half-wood press for her kids. And this is a collagraph plate that I gave to a student to print. I made the plate, a real quick plate, in less than a few minutes. And I gave it to him. I said, "Go proof this." And 40 years later, he brought it back to show me. And I said, "Well, you're too late." Haha. Good morning, it's Bill Ritchie. I wanted to give a shout out to Steve in Canada. He's one of my art patrons. He bought a print. Oh my, it was the 19, oh, it was so long ago. But he kept that print and he sent me a picture of it. And today he sent me a message about, so I think it was a comment from a response I made. And he said, it's so much nicer to have the real thing effectively than a picture. And I've heard this before. But the joy of being in a printmaking field is you're part of the sciences as much as you are part of the arts. And I wrote this book I started it in 1992, I think, and I recommended it to Steve. And for all of you who might be curious, I recommend it too. Thanks for watching. Here I go again, curating myself again. I came across this image. Our daughter was curating the other day. She's our digital curator. It's the weirdest thing. It's the kind of thing that I used to find in my studio that was too nice to throw away. What it was a piece of paper that was under a sheet of glass. You have to picture this. Under a sheet of glass, it was an inking slab, and it had a crack in it. So the ink went through and soaked into the paper. I liked it so much I saved it. And then later I printed this etching in it that has like 1,000 times the statement, "Printmaking is dead." It was kind of an in-joke because in order to make this, I had to use a rubber stamp, which of course is printmaking. So how could something like that be dead? Thanks. Why am I laughing? I'm laughing because I'm wearing my Speak-On hat and I'm playing around with my Woody Rembrandt press, and I realized that if I could put rubber bands, I would make the wheels go in the correct direction. presser. It's all so crazy. But, I'm what you call a drunk on hope. Even after last night's viewing of the broadcast of the insurrection, I still have hope. It's because I have friends who are 4 years old, and they have hope. Thanks for watching. There, number 1121. A lithograph, part of a folio of prints called Target and Reflection 1. There are, looks like about 8 or 9 prints in this portfolio, all candidates for a project-based learning experience. The project is to curate this portfolio by taking ownership of it, and that cohort, that group of people, share in this ownership of this portfolio, maybe on a blockchain, I'm not sure. The money they put into this, which is hundreds of dollars, becomes their ownership, their certificates of ownership, and those hundreds of dollars go to pay for Big Sister learning for 9-year-old girls, all interested in arts, technology. Thanks for watching. As I head out today for my walk and listening to YouTube videos about cryptocurrency and NFTs and so many things, the most interesting thing was that I discovered that the invention of the computer, Charles Babbage gets some credit for that, was the difference engine. And the whole point at the end of it was to stamp out printing plates. I never knew that. So that's an interesting connection between computers and printmaking, don't you think? Thanks for watching. Hey, it says here on my Gates calendar that today is June 21st, and it's video day. So I go to my hat rack and I get my video cap, and I put it on my head. And if you're wondering what that aluminum foil is, it's because I'm going to watch the 4th in the series of hearings, and aluminum might shield me from getting depressed from watching the state of our nation. Have a good day. Me and my shadow. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Ritchie, and I'm on my morning walk. I thought you might like to see the roses that I get to see every day. Thanks for watching. It isn't easy being green. I'm setting up this micro R etching press for display in my window at our gallery. And I'm thinking about how much better it is if presses are small and beautiful and made to be aware of the changing times, even in printmaking. Oh, goody, goody, my newest book. Let's see what it is. Video retrospective. I want to open it for you. There it is. These are videos that are so old, they've been dropped by YouTube. So I went back and I retrieved them, and by entering the title, I can still look at these old tapes 13 years ago. You ought to try it. Get in touch with me. I'll get you a book. Thanks. One of the best things about being a digital curator is making discoveries. Today I discovered that these tapes, the Lawrence Barker videotapes we made in 1983 in Barcelona, are still intact. I've discovered them on my hard drive, the digitized version of 123 minutes, and there might be more. It's like finding gold. Thanks for watching. I was working away on my new comic book at www.emeraldaworks.com, and I looked up and I saw all these wooden printing press toys sitting around. It's just wonderful, wonderful display. And I thought, I can see the day coming when I will have a whole shop of just nothing but printmaking toys and games. I hope you'll help me. Join patreon.com, Bill H. Ritchie VIP. Good morning, it's Bill. On my walk, I began thinking about a movie I saw called Silent Running. That movie was made 50 years ago, exactly. Well, it was released in 1972. and it's about a giant greenhouse on outer space, and it was filled with trees, the last trees that had grown on Earth, which was a dying planet. And I think it's kind of interesting now that we have a movement going to kill all the trees, but there's no plan to send a giant greenhouse into outer space to save the trees. That's something we're going to have to do right here on Earth. There's no planet B. Hi, look what I have. I got a mug for the Print Pals project that I'm working on. Every now and then I get an offer from this company called Collage, I think, and free mug. Just pay the shipping. Thanks for watching. Well, here it is. My Riga kids with presses. All the photographs that I received from Grafica Scola in Riga, from my friends there, ever since they bought that mini half-wood press in 2012. They've been putting it to good use. I'd say better use than anybody else in the world. Thanks for watching. I'm waiting for these files to download on my computer software program for InDesign, and working on my comic book style user manual for Print Pals. Making paper, that's the section I'm working on. And I was thinking, it takes so long to make these pages, but only a few seconds to look at each page. Well, that's the way it goes. That's show business.
There was a time during the COVID epidemic when printmaking teachers all over the country were in a panic, and one of the techniques that they used to substitute for plate making, for intaglio and other kinds of printmaking, was from a packaging product called Tetra Pak, an non-recyclable laminate of a thin aluminum foil on paper. And in this video, I'm showing how I would cut out a Tetra Pak piece from the biggest part of it. And later I would take two of these and run them through a laminator to fuse them together.
I'm Bill Ritchie. Some of you might know me as a printmaking professor, or some might know me as an artist in printmaking. But I thought you might find it interesting that I discovered a book today called Humans Are Not from Earth. And it kind of confirms my theory that printmaking was actually brought to Earth by an alien woman. And she taught printing alongside the cave painters 30 or 40,000 years ago. And that invention of printing with the hand, making a silhouette or a relief print of the hand, is actually the ancestor of all STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math or music. And if you use print as the A in STEAM, you have a better foundation for education of young people. And even better yet, add reading and writing and get STREAM. Anyway, this book, Humans Are Not from Earth, by a researcher named Silvers, is now on my Android phone, and I plan to read it. Thanks for watching. What do I have in common with 30-something engineering student designer in Cologne, Germany? It's the 3D printed press that he designed. 4 years ago, I gave myself this press for my birthday. I sent the data from Martin Schneider's Open Press project to a service company that prints things from data, and they sent me the parts, 19 parts to put together to make this press. And I tested it, and it worked. Last year, that is 2021, 22, Eck Laurie and I, Eck is in Switzerland, he designed the micro Rembrandt press, micro art press. And today, that is the 29th, the Kickstarter, the second Kickstarter that Martin did, the first one raised over $40,000 to go into a better production of an improved model. And today is the final day and the closing day of his second Kickstarter. He asked for 500, he got 11,000. And I got one of those newer presses, which is closer to the size of the micro press. It's a little narrower than the first press that Martin designed. So where do we go from here? That's the question. And will we ever in Seattle match what has been done in Switzerland, in Germany, and probably other parts of the world? Well, if it's going to happen, I'd sure like to be part of it. Let me know if you know how we could go from here. Thank you. Good morning, it's Bill. Welcome to my mini art gallery. You know, I was thinking this morning, we just set our time back, set our clocks back for daylight savings, but what I'm in the mood for is to setting my life ahead. Like, call it life savings time. So I'm living, you know, at the age of 90 when I'm really 80. Thank you for watching. Hi, it's Bill again. I'm digital curating right now. I'm comparing two concepts of what's called a print city. This one is a current one from Singapore. An artist named Shanlin Chu drew this, 10 steps through touring a print city. And then next to it, I have on my screen my 1987 concept of print city, which is more of a college level kind of thing compared to the rather childish one here. But I'm more interested in hers because, as you may know, I've sort of become a child again. Thanks for watching. Good morning, folks. Well, here I am again on my way from my morning walk, listening to a TED Talk. And I stop in the gallery and check in on my computer. And once again, grateful that I've lived into the future. Here's the page I'm going to upload the next decade of my autobiography, this decade 2011 to 2020. And down here you see a picture of myself with our daughter Nellie when she was an infant. Isn't that cool? Well, I hope you all have a good day. I can't believe it. I was just looking at my screen at our Halfwood Press encyclopedia. It must have gone on sale or something. $10.50 for this 250-page full-color encyclopedia of the history of the Halfwood Press? Man, if I didn't already have one, I'd give one to myself for Christmas. Good morning, it's Bill. I want to share with you a toy that I've been working on. It's actually my autobiography, and bring it up on my screen at emeraldaworks.com, and I go to the bottom and I enter a page number. Now I happen to pick a page number at random, 635. I click on it. It opens up to page 635 on the right, and it's a story about making prints and a story about a virus and how two friends saved my neck. So try it out. Go to emeraldaworks.com, enter page 635, and read 2 pages of my story. It's kind of interesting. Thanks for watching. It's me again, Bill Ritchie. I'm working on my newest creation, which is called Artist Script Magazine. And in the opening lines, I wanted to start with an essay about the end in mind. which is what my artist script invention is all about. And I needed to know what it was my art teacher in high school had said about going on and on, I think he said. And so I go to my online um, autobiography, and there I find him, Mr. Dick Cattell, and the exact quote from his video online. And I'm scanning it here because I can't see it very well, but there it is. He said, art teachers just go on and on. Thought you might like to see that. Thanks for watching. We're looking at the newest book that Carl Chu made using AI. It's just full of pictures. I haven't been having so much fun since I used to get Mad comic books. Look at that. I don't know how Carl did it. Sometimes AI works, you just tell it what you want and it does the best it can. Other times you give it a picture and start out, but you'll have to ask him, isn't this great? I'm working on a new book called Artist Script, ARTISCRIP. And it's more fun, and I don't know if I can show this, but for example, I'm working on a page in this book. It's a long story. So what I'm looking at is a paragraph about these works in our family collection. And you see the two QR codes there. And when I focus up on one of these barcodes, and I can't do that because this phone's being used for video recording, but the one on the picture, which is a Dennis Evans pot, has a QR code, and it will talk to me, tell me the story about that piece. The one down below will take us to our family art collection. Now, you can, if you had two smartphones, I almost said something else. If you had two smartphones, you could zoom in on that, and it would probably link you to our museum. Isn't that just incredible? Now, this is Bill Ritchie speaking, and I'm looking at my copy of the C.T. Chu on AI. This is a world's first book created between an artist and artificial intelligence. And I want to teach you a little bit about how you use it. First, you have to buy it on Blurb. That might take some research. And then you need to get one of these silver pins like this. And you have to go and you have to take and number the pages, because if they're not numbered, and you never know when you're going to need to know reference a certain page. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what you have to do. Have fun. Thank you. It's Bill Ritchie saying goodbye. 60 years ago, when I was a student taking printmaking, we were taught to use edition numbers. But I learned somewhere after teaching printmaking for 19 years and doing research on this topic of printmaking for another 20 years that the most important thing about making a print as an artwork is the moment of pulling the proof, not the number you assign. The numbers were assigned to editions, and editions were based on what is called a scarcity mentality. That is, that there aren't any more, and so you better buy the print now because there will never be any more like it, and it becomes scarce, and therefore it's collectible. This is fine for commercial printing, and I decided that now that we've lived through that era, and that we're in the age of the digital print and the era of plenitude in many ways, we need to drop the old way and focus on the moment of art. The moment the print is pulled, the moment the paper comes off the plate, and you see the rewards of the efforts you put into making the plate, inking it and printing it and all the rest. So I invented what I call the moments of art. Actually, I borrowed the term from an art historian, but that's another story. So I made these last in December of 21, and I decided to offer them here to show you what I mean by moments of art, or the moment number, assigned on number, well, go back and look. December 22nd, 2022. Mighty cold here in Seattle, but these prints are going to South Africa. Right now it's very warm. These are the prints that I made in collaboration with Mavis Ndutwa. There are 8 trial proofs here. They all have documentation on the back. This is number 1, which was a blank print, number 2, and so on, all the way up to trial proof number 8. I'm sending them to South Africa. It's a long story, but Mavis came to Seattle several years ago, and we got together on a project which is online. But during COVID, she passed away, she died. And she left behind 2 sons and her husband. And recently, the family contacted me, and we're going to finish her memoir, which she started when she was here. And I'm going to send the prints that I made during our time together to the family in South Africa, in Botswana, as a gift. And I don't know where that will go from here. Maybe it will lead to a show, a fundraiser perhaps, I don't know. But in any case, her sons are eager to learn all they can about their mother, and her husband is helping me with this project. So I will be putting this collection online, as Mavis was a great help to me when she was here in helping me understand the situation in her country. Thanks for watching. I'm Bill Ritchie. How old was I when I first discovered Emeralda? It was 1992. This is 2022, so it was 30 years ago. Emeralda is an imaginary place that I discovered quite by accident. And the story is that aliens came from the flower planet and landed on Earth. For what reason, I'm not sure. And the spaceship brought with them 6 members of a family that were sent here. And among them was a woman I call Media, and she's been my inspiration. And the whole experience of Emeralda, the games for the gift of life, began in that year. Long story. You can read it in my autobiography. I think it was Ulysses Carrion who got me interested in archives. He had a collection of artist books gathered from all around the world, and he lived in Amsterdam, and he called his archive Other Books and So. And he said, we live in a privileged time when an archive can be a work of art. And I look in our gallery, our collection. I have archives of all kinds. For example, an archive of prints made on all the tests of the half-wood presses. And it's fascinating. I know 48, I think it was 48 test prints and reading notes. There's so many archives in our collection. I made this frame for my artist trading card archive collection so that I could hang it on the wall. And when I want to, I can open it up, like today when I want to restore this set of trading cards to this empty box, I can open it up. I started in 1992 with this project. I was inspired by the Union of Concerned Scientists Warning to Humanity. We had 30 years to get our act together. And Wizards of the Coast Magic, a kind of collectible trading card game that employed artists. There are 28 cells in my archive here. I'm not sure how old I was when I first got interested in writing, but I do remember in high school doing the annual, and in college I was a writer and art editor, and writing became kind of balanced with the visual arts. And finally, in the late 80s, I wrote my first book, The Art of Selling Art, and that seemed like a practical balance between producing art and selling art. And I went on to produce, I wrote up until today about 50 books, and here they are. We got a letter yesterday from friends in Oregon. It was not an ordinary letter, it was stuffed with news clippings. And it reminded me of one of my favorite archives in our mini art gallery. All the news clippings and magazine articles going back, oh, I don't know how many years, but she saved these things. I was amazed, and it brought back a lot of wonderful memories. Some of them were from my days at the University of Washington, my days when I was starting the Living Museum of Computer Art and Design. What a collection. What a pleasure. What a great friend. Thank you, Janice.
Thanks for coming today, and I want to thank all my former professors who showed up here this afternoon, and greetings again.
In our archives, we have a videotape and audio tape collections and the printed transcripts from them. And from this one, which is 35 hours of videotapes we made on our trip around the world in 1983 on my last sabbatical, I turned that into a book so that I could share all the brief summaries of what happened. And in our audio tape collection, we have audio tapes going back to the 70s. I can transcribe these now on the computer, of course, and turn them into digital audio. Quite an interesting part of our archives, the audio recordings. I'm compiling the first 5 of the 1-minute videos that are online at the Ritchie Art and Archives collection. By clicking on the QR codes, you'll see the same videos as I'm compiling in this 1-hour tape. The objective is eventually that you can do a lot more with this collection besides watching me describe each of the pieces I've had time so far to describe. By more, I mean games. Our plan is to create an online game you can use on your phone, on your smartphone, and virtually go in and learn more about the work, the people involved, and buy what I call artist's script. It's a long story, but maybe through the next intervals I can tell you more. Well, there you have it. If you sat through the entire 40 minutes, that was a compilation of my YouTube videos made throughout the year of 2022, which I discovered not very long ago, about a month ago, and succeeded in compiling into this collection. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I'm Bill Ritchie.